Next, I want to give some suggestions I always make when preparing learners for taking the exam. Obviously, once you've made sure you got yourself there on time and you know where you're actually going to be sitting, make sure you go to the loo before going to the exam hall. First thing I always tend to say to my students is take the time to read the entire exam paper. And when I say read it, I mean move your lips whilst you do it. Understandably, we can't read out loud in an exam, but doing this helps us absorb the information. Otherwise, we tend to skim read and miss vital points of information. When we look at how the mind works, there's an old saying that we only use 10% of our brains. And whilst this has been shown to be untrue, it is true that we tend to be aware of only a small amount of what our mind is engaged with. It engages with all of our senses, and this can be proven by asking you now, how do your feet feel in their shoes? See, your brain had that information, but you weren't aware of it until I asked you. This works when you're having an argument with someone and you thought of the perfect thing to say 5 minutes after the argument is over. That's your brain still working on things that you thought you'd stopped thinking about. If you start the exam by taking 5 or so minutes to carefully read the paper, then you'll be allowing your subconscious mind to absorb and start thinking about the answers. Your heart rate will also slow and you'll make better decisions. Now, you can go back and start on what you feel is the easiest question. Set yourself a time limit, 1 minute per mark. If you're making progress in that time limit, great, keep going. If not, stop, move on to another question. Checking your answer is always something that people find difficult. Many of us leave it until the end of the exam and then do a quick check, but really we're just checking that we filled in the blanks. And there is a validity to that. But really, if we want to check our answers, the best time to do that is straight after finishing the question, whilst it's fresh in our mind which process we've used and how. Walk yourself back through the question that you've been asked and your answer. Very often I've seen learners give an answer of 110 kilograms to a question of, does he have enough concrete? Sure, the numerical answer is part of the solution, but you have missed a mark on the conclusive statement. Then, at the end of the exam, you can check that you've answered all the questions, use the right units of measurement, and put the decimal point in the right place, safe in the knowledge that you've already checked it more thoroughly previously. Just to recap, in order to best prepare for the exam, make sure you plan your revision, little and often, in the 4 months running up to the exam. Increase the time from 20 minutes up by 5 minutes for each month that you get closer towards the exam. Get your rest. Try and keep electronics to a minimum, which will help you sleep. Make sure you stay hydrated, because this helps your brain function. And make sure you're looking forward to the exam as your opportunity to show what you can do. This is what all the hard work on exam preparation has been for. When you're in the exam, read the paper whilst you move your lips to get your mind engaged. Start with the questions you feel are easiest, and then work through the paper, rereading the questions as you go. Check your work straight after answering the question, and then a final recheck at the end to ensure you've answered all the questions. Use the correct units of measurements, etc. Okay, so that's my advice for preparing and taking an exam. Hopefully you found it useful and you've had an opportunity to review all the topics that we've covered in these videos. Good luck for the exam, and thanks for taking the time to listen.